World's okay a substitute check-in. First of all, today is dressed like Donkey Kong Day. So I'm all in brown with a red tie like Donkey Kong. I'm not much for remembering different kinds of artists. I'm lucky if I remember that Van Gogh painted the Mona Lisa, but there are a few artists that I admire and I remember because of the style of what they do. Van Gogh is one of my favorites because of, the cool swirly, swoopy things that he did. My friend Kathy, who is teaching me how to oil paint, is a former art instructor for public schools, and so I was telling her, I'm substituting, what can I have these kids do in like 30 minutes or less? And so she taught me about an artist who I hadn't known before. I think I'd seen his work before, but I didn't know that this was his name. Wayne Thiebaud. He was a California-based artist and he lived to be over 100 years old, and he was originally a comic illustrator and he did things like advertisements. So he got very good at drawing and painting stuff that's ordinarily just like in your house, ordinary normal stuff. And he's really well known for painting desserts. And how cool is that? He paints desserts and kids like desserts. Who doesn't like desserts? So I brought sweeties. I brought gummy bears for the older students and cookies for the younger ones. Gummy bears are kind of hard to draw. There's not a whole lot of details. Kind of like drawing glass. They're translucent. You really have to play with shadows and light to get any detail in this rectangular blob. Boogery blob. Cookies are technically just circles, but they're not perfect circles, not all of the time. See, this one's got a little nib in it. It's got some stuff hanging off to the side. There's cracks, there's texture. You can view it from the top, you can view it from the side or 3/4. What I've been having them do is sketch them first with pencil to get the shape, and then grab some twistables or some colored pencils to add color into it. Add different kinds of browns. If you add 2 different browns to a cookie, it looks a little bit more real. And Wayne Thiebaud wasn't perfect with his colors. If you look at the little parfait glasses that he did, he added purple and yellow into a glass that's supposed to be either clear or silver, because that's what you do with your paint. You take liberties and it winds up looking pretty realistic. And I'm not an artist. I'm not a formally trained artist. I feel like such a butt when I come in here making art teacher videos when I'm not. I do some artwork in my own life, but I've never taken an art class outside of high school. I'm a YouTube artist, a TikTok artist, and I'm a substitute art teacher. But I know one of my favorite things about art is that you don't have to follow the rules. There are some rules that you could learn that make your paintings look better, and that's all I want to convey is don't worry about using absolute perfect colors accurate to what you see. That was kind of one of the things I feel hobbled me for a long time. I tried to make identically what was in front of me on my paper, and not a lot of people can do that. But when you start giving kids permission to use purple as a shadow on the vanilla ice cream, really cool things happen. Yesterday I learned that kindergarten and first grade might be a little bit young to do sketching and then coloring and kind of hold their attention for the entire day. So I had some other kids help me cut out brown squares. They're going to cut out circle cookies and decorate them accordingly. I'm not sure what to use. Bingo dotters, that's always solid. I have some stickers. They're like finger paint. Oh, I badly want to give them glitter, but that's such a bad idea. Oh, I intended one of these days to actually kind of record the lesson not from my POV, but just kind of sitting here up on the table. But I'm on when these children are here. I'm not good enough of a teacher where I can turn my back for a moment. As soon as I'm up here, I'm monitoring the entire room the entire time. But I can tell you, we talked about Wayne Thiebaud. He was really well known for his goodies, his sweeties. And I showed him all these cool paintings that he did. So the older kids, 5th and 6th graders, got gummy bears, and I tried to do a little bit of a guided drawing, but I really didn't prepare beforehand. I was just showing them what I would do as a novice, as just like a normal person trying to draw a gummy bear. And I just kind of went step by step. And he did these awesome, crazy situations and scenarios. The gummy bears were doing things that the gummy bears ordinarily wouldn't, and maybe one of the gummy bears was really big, attacking a really tiny gummy bear, or maybe they were fighting with each other. Man, I'm kind of worried about the second class I had. It was pretty morbid, like they were on pikes and stuff. Looked like the Five Nights at Freddy's bears, but then some of the other kids did some nice things, like some rainbow bears. Younger kids got cookies to draw, and we talked about shape and texture and form and how cookies aren't perfectly smooth like glass, and using different colors of brown to put into your brown cookie to make it look a little bit more lifelike. How many cracks do you count? How many chocolate chips do you count? Are they on the outside or the inside? And they sketched the cookie and then they colored it with colored pencil. And then I learned my lesson yesterday with the first graders or the second grade, whatever. The kindergarten and the first grade did not do any sketching or coloring today, but I did have them cut out a round piece of brown, and then with a glue stick, we mosaicked a bunch of tissue paper onto that, and then at the very end, I cut up some little bits of foam into some chocolate chips. This is mine. This is my demo piece. Chocolate chips on top of the colorful cookies. Man, I didn't get a picture of any of them. So I taught them about this new artist. I like Wayne Thiebaud because he's the one who illustrated a bunch of dessert, and then we illustrated our own kinds of dessert in class today. Now let them have free reign with what they were doing. So this one kid drew the two gummy bears mingling, meshing together, or pulling apart. Other girl who drew a hand dipping the chocolate chip cookie into a chocolate fountain. Somebody drew a cookie going into a glass of milk. There were some flying cookies, and there were some animals attacking the cookies. Yeah, I'm buying their affections with sweets, and I don't even care. I don't even apologize. By the way, they showed up with their Chromebooks. I'm like, oh, you can put those away. We're not using the computers today. And one of them said, we're having a day like the 1980s where they didn't have electronics.